Title: The Tariff Trapdoor: How Trump Turned Trade Threats into Capital Commitments. Flint West reporting. You ever notice how Trump doesn't play poker like a politician? He plays it like a loan shark? He doesn't bluff to win the hand. He bluffs to make the table nervous enough to pay him just to keep playing. That's what the tariffs were: table rent. Now, everyone's focused on this Supreme Court case, like the whole thing's about whether tariffs count as a tax. Oh, the 16th Amendment, separation of powers. Sure, that's the legal drama. But underneath, it's about leverage. Who gets to weaponize uncertainty for profit? See, while the talking heads were arguing about consumer prices, Trump was doing something that looked crazy but made economic sense. He turned tariffs into a down payment system. Every time he slapped a tariff on Europe, Japan, or South Korea, they didn't retaliate. They wrote checks. The European Union promised to ramp up purchases of United States soybeans and liquefied natural gas. Brussels called it energy diversification. I call it paying tribute. Japan signed a limited trade deal in 2019 after Trump threatened auto tariffs. Then in 2025, pledged another $550 billion in United States investment under a 15% tariff framework. South Korea? They agreed to $350 billion, capped at $20 billion a year, plus a handful of industrial projects, semiconductors, defense, and clean energy partnerships. Those numbers aren't all cash on the barrel, sure, but they're capital flows tethered to fear. Fear of tariffs, fear of losing access to the world's biggest consumer market. The United States didn't need to beg for foreign direct investment. It just priced noncompliance. And that's the quiet genius. While everyone mocked Tariff Man, the deficit started to shrink. Treasury collected roughly $400 billion in 6 months from tariffs alone, trimming the shortfall from $1.8 trillion to something closer to sustainable. It wasn't just about protecting American steel. It was about making the United States the highest yield geopolitical instrument on Earth. Now the Supreme Court's threatening to take away that lever, saying tariffs under emergency powers, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, might violate congressional authority. If Trump loses, he could owe refunds worth hundreds of billions. That's why he looked rattled. Not because of politics, but because it unravels the collateral behind the deal. But here's where the real twist comes in. Section 338 of the 1930 Smoot-Hawley Act, the Tariff Trapdoor. It's an old clause that lets the president impose tariffs up to 50% on any nation discriminating against United States commerce. No agency approval, no investigation, never been used in modern times, but it's still law. If the International Emergency Economic Powers Act falls, Section 338 steps in. It's the legal equivalent of a backdoor circuit breaker. Trump can reframe tariffs not as emergency measures, but as responses to discrimination. That's his plan B. That's how he keeps the money flowing. And here's the kicker. While all this tariff theater was happening, big tech started building the AI cathedrals. Zuckerberg goes on live television and says he's ready to spend $600 billion on United States infrastructure for artificial intelligence and data centers. Microsoft, Amazon, and Google are racing to build trillion-dollar compute grids. But none of that capital forms in a vacuum. When you have foreign governments promising hundreds of billions to secure tariff relief, that liquidity sloshes back into domestic capital expenditures. Tariffs weren't killing globalization. They were rewiring it through the United States balance sheet. So when Trump says he took in trillions, fact checkers cry exaggeration, but they miss the mechanism. He didn't collect trillions in cash. He indexed trillions in global commitments. He turned political volatility into yield. That's the part history will remember. Not the noise about taxes or trade wars, but the precedent. Tariffs as the new collateral, diplomacy as structured finance. In the end, the tariff trapdoor isn't just about law. It's about leverage. When everyone else was trading goods, Trump was trading pressure. And for a while at least, the world paid up. Flint West signing off.